This is the Federal District of Mexico, more generally known as Mexico City, capital of the country which bears its name, and one of the largest and most modern cities in Latin America, where almost 2 million inhabitants have dedicated their way of life to the democratic cause of freedom and independence. Since the arrival of the Spanish conquistadores over 4 centuries ago, Mexico City has undergone a series of thrilling transitions, appropriately commemorated by her impressive monuments, one of the foremost of which is the monument to Mexican independence, representing the heroic struggle that was begun by Father Hidalgo in 1810 and consummated by his successors in 1821. In an exclusive residential district where the Washington Apartments once housed the American Embassy, there stands a monument which symbolizes the great bond of friendship that now exists between Mexico and the United States, the George Washington Monument, presented by the American colony to the Mexican people on the 100th anniversary of their struggle for independence from Spain. One of the most conspicuous of the many monuments that serve as milestones in the history of Mexico is the one to Benito Juarez, who liberated his country from the yoke of French domination and inaugurated the first real progress toward a true Republican rule. Born of Indian parents in 1806, he overcame the obstacles of poverty and obtained an education which qualified him as a brilliant lawyer, statesman, and leader of his country. This impressive monument commemorates the Mexican Revolution, which produced a new constitution in 1917 under the leadership of the late President Carranza, whose mortal remains are being transferred on this occasion from a civil cemetery to an honored crypt under the monument. Attending the impressive ceremony is General Avila Camacho, popular president of Mexico, now serving the people, rich and poor alike, in the spirit of true democracy. The magnificent Palace of Fine Arts stands as a monument to all the people of Mexico, for it symbolizes their undying appreciation for the finer arts. Mexico City is not only the cultural and political center of the nation, but is also the social center. The modern Hotel Reforma on the Paseo de la Reforma is a popular rendezvous for travelers from many parts of the world and a favorite meeting place for the elite. Its alluring roof garden is indeed a haven of rest and relaxation. Foreign enterprise has helped considerably in the modernizing of Mexico City, and the offices of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Company are typical of many American firms that enjoy the privileges of doing business side by side with their Mexican neighbors. The policy for closer relations between the two countries has naturally developed trade increases in all branches of business, and over 75% of Mexico's total exports are now sold to her northern neighbors. The internationally famous Sanborns restaurant, established over 40 years ago by 2 industrious young brothers from California, is closely identified with the progress and prosperity of Mexico City. But aside from modern development, the Federal District of Mexico has not lost the charm of its yesterdays, when Spanish viceroys held forth in the old palace of the viceroys, which is now the National Palace, and romantic senors and senoritas paraded through this plaza en route to the cathedral, built over the ruins of the old Aztec temple that was destroyed by Cortez more than 4 centuries ago. Ideally situated upon a hill overlooking the city stands the historic castle of Chapultepec, also built upon the site of an ancient Aztec palace. It has been the official residence of the presidents of Mexico since it once served as the royal abode of the Empress Carlotta and her unfortunate husband, Maximilian, during his turbulent reign as the Emperor of Mexico, by appointment of Napoleon III. Diverting our attention from the dramatic history of Chapultepec Castle, we were amused with a little sideshow staged by an odd trio of friendly enemies. En route to the Sunday bullfight, we paused for a moment to admire an apartment house recently completed by a popular matador, whose income from the bull ring, we were told, netted him as much as $4,000 a performance. We arrive at the bull ring on a special fiesta day, in time to witness the ride of the beauty queens, a colorful preliminary to the bullfight. This arena will seat over 30,000 spectators, and it is one of the largest of its kind in the world. Bullfighting is the national sport of Mexico, and is by far more popular than any other sport which the country has to offer. The history of bullfighting dates back before 1567, when the spectacle was introduced into Mexico by the early Spanish colonists. In the mind of the average bullfight enthusiast, a bull comes into the ring to kill, and he gets killed. And this reasoning apparently condones what might otherwise appear objectionable. Audiences are supercritical and intensely emotional. If a performer violates a single rule in the slightest degree, he is booed and hissed as loudly as he is applauded if his performance is good. Sometimes the bull gets more applause than the matador. In spite of its popularity, however, the bullfighting season is a brief one. And increasing patronage is now being given to the more international sports, such as baseball, tennis, football, and polo. Another very wholesome sport that is gaining in popularity throughout Mexico is the grand old game of golf. And some idea of its clubhouse pretentiousness is illustrated by this view of the Mexico City Country Club. And it is here, in this golfer's paradise, that we say adios to modern and beautiful Mexico City.